Hi, this is David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And today in studio, I have Adib Khaldi with Simple Picks. How's it going, Adib?
Good, David. How are you?
Good. I always like doing this show because it's a little different than the format I do the rest of the week because we simply talk about EV stocks on Fridays.
Yes. Fair enough.
And let's go ahead. We're going to do a short show today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the obvious. First one is always going to be Tesla.
Yes, let me pull up our screen here. Video share.
Now, Kathy Woods just bought, what was another $160 million worth of Tesla this past week for
Oh,
ARC.
really?
Yeah, she says they're going to 1400 in the next couple of years. So she's convinced of it. And it's interesting to kind of see what they're doing. It looks like their solar and energy divisions are making more money than cars. Everybody just looks at them as a car company. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to kind of see. It's like the cars aren't all that Tesla is.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. There's tons of innovation going on. I look, I'm not a huge fan of Tesla personally.
Mhm.
Depends seasonally, depending on the price, right? Depending on if I'm a
Right.
shareholder, if I own them or not. It's kind of a special, funny relationship. But the cars themselves, are absolutely groundbreaking, stellar vehicles. Lots of great technology, and they have a magnitude of markets that they obviously cater to. Not just the strict EV market. They're venturing into lots of other ones as well. So I like Tesla a lot. In our last show, if you recall, I was saying lots of these stocks were near their bottom, but they may get hurt just a little bit more. It seems like we're pretty close to near that bottom level. Lots of these stocks have bounced off their lows. The whole EV sector really just got a good relief rally this last 2 weeks, I would say. In Tesla, when we look at this chart, we put a strong line in the sand at around $170. Below 170, I would have been a nibbler at 150. It seems like now I may need to start looking in at the 170 mark. So things are holding ground. Great line in the sand around here, and we're getting some form of a little bit of a rebound. Obviously, what I think is going to happen, and I think right now there's a little bit of a turmoil, just a lot around the political situation that's going on with the United States and the world.
Mhm.
I think that the elections coming up are going to be a very big catalyst for a lot of industries, especially the electric vehicle ones, in terms of policy and how the new government or the same government that extends decides to put those things in place. So I think we're going to get a summer of consolidation. It's a good time to start scaling into EV stocks. Looks like bottoms have been starting to be put in. And we can see that evidently again, around the 150 mark here, 170 mark on Tesla.
All right. Let's go ahead and let's move on to Rivian.
Rivian, how's your friend doing?
We haven't discussed it since the last show.
Well, looks like he's in luck again.
I did let them know that it would be a good time to dollar cost average.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it looks like Rivian went as low as $14.85, and has since rebounded a little bit here to 1661. It's finding some ground again. I drew these lines here on your show multiple weeks ago, and we stick by them. We stay on the trade plans. We don't change our bias. So what do you see happened around this line in the sand we drew here, David? It
We
bounced off
stayed
of it
above
a
it.
couple of times, and it's starting to come back up. So where do we see resistance? Obviously at the $17-18 mark. That's where we previously recommended the stock, if you recall,
Right.
around here. The stock went up to 22, but it just hot air couldn't hold. So now here we are restabilizing and coming back up off the spot that I like to buy in. This is where, as a buyer, I would be coming in. So $16 is a great spot for Rivian. It's finding some consolidation. Is it going to break out of this stranglehold that it's around 17-18 bucks? I can't tell you for certain. I don't see the future. I can only try to predict it. And we will know in our probably next show, or probably around then. I'm going to suspect that it's going to be around 17 and a half or 18 bucks.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on down the line. Let's look at Lucid.
Lucid, my favorite, my absolute favorite. Last time around $2.60, I said, David, this is the time to start buying. I'd probably be really surprised if it goes below 250. Like, it's unprecedented territory. And where did that go? Here we are back at 350.
Mhm.
So big buy came in all the way to kind of fix the chart. All the sellers that capitulated around here looks like they just got taken out in 2 days. You know, it took them 2 weeks to get down there. They got taken out in 2 days. What does that tell me? That tells me that it's probably the bottom, baby. So,
They probably need to come on my show. I probably need to get the Lucid CEO on here so we can have the EV World News effect that we did on Greenland.
Hey, man, every time we're calling it, you know, thankfully we do just basic technical analysis and price action theory, and we're able to kind of see what all the big picture. Now, again, we're not always right, we're not always wrong, but we try to be in the know. Okay, we try to be in the know. That's the biggest thing I like to know. So 250, great buy. Is it going to go back above to that, you know, resistance level that we see on Rivian at the $18 and Lucid at the $4.50 and at the Tesla at the $2.20? I don't know. It might float back up there, but is it a strong buy? It's probably the time to start loading up, as I said in the beginning of this segment. You want to, it's going to be a quiet summer, but probably an uptrending summer for EV in anticipation of the elections. And you probably want to sell the news. And I'm going to stand to maybe clip this video in 6 months to tell you, you probably should have bought the rumor and sold the news. Okay. But that's where we're at.
Right. I get it. I get it. All right. Let's go ahead and see what we got
I've
next.
got
Let's take
about,
a look at Greenland,
okay,
GTEC,
green tech, green tech. I've
GTEC.
got about 2.5 minutes here, David. I apologize. I'm
No
running
worries.
under a pressure time, but GTEC is holding its own. Obviously, our first coverage of this stock was at $2.50,
Or less.
maybe
Yeah.
less. I think it was like 220. It was around here,
Yeah.
220. November, the early Novembers, early this,
Yeah.
early mid November, early December. You know, $3.30. It's an upwards trajectory. I like where it's going. It just had to get a little bit of cool off of its you know, hot momentous run here. Am I a buyer of this stock? Yeah, I'd probably still feel comfortable buying this stock around, you know, anywhere above 250 to $3. I think you'll get some good value shares. That's pretty much all I could say about it. It's not much volume. Again, you know, it's just
No.
I think we're waiting for catalysts with these type of stocks. And that's the problem, is that when the catalysts stop, the naked short sellers and the people that, you know, want to make money off of the I guess you know, what you know, the word of that I'm looking for is kind of just, you know, when it floats in the air. That's what I kind of like to say, you know, because there's nothing really going on. It's not bad, but there's nothing really good going on either. So anybody that can force pressure on one side can typically make a little bit of money off of it. And typically shorts like to pressure liquidity. And if there's no liquidity, the stock's going to go down a little bit and cause more liquidity. So that's all that it is. But the second they release some good news, all that gets wiped out in an instant, right? So the problem with the markets and being an investor is you hold for 5 years, and then the news comes on the day that you might not be holding it, and you miss out on all the gains that you were anticipating for all those 5 years. Okay, so that's why I trade.
Right. I get it. So let's look at, this is a different one. PSNY. That's Polestar. Polestar was a division of Volvo. What's interesting is they've been spinning it off to Geely, and Volvo is one of the three companies in the world that makes EVs that sells them at a profit.
Interesting.
Yeah, but anyways, let's look at
3.6
Polestar.
billion in 3.6 billion in market cap. So they're are like pretty small.
Right,
Like
right.
like so this is good. You want the small companies that potentially have some breakthroughs,
hmm
right?
What
You
are they
don't want
trading,
the
about a buck
Lucid that's worth
75?
$30 billion and declining day over day, right?
Yeah,
Um,
at $1.73.
yeah, $1.73. It's 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 not ready yet, but it's just about ready.
How does that chart look compared to Tesla, Lucid, Rivian?
It's exactly the same, but
Yeah,
just in its own miniature way. Does that make sense? There's
yeah.
lots of upside resistance that I can see here. Every time that the stock gets a little bit bought up, it seems like it can't catch a break and people just want to sell it faster than they bought it. Okay, so it gets a bump, sold. It gets a bump, look, bump, sold, bump, sold, bump, sold, bump, sold. It's just downtrending. There's just no uptrend here. We're not seeing anybody that is buying it and riding it higher. It's buying it and selling it, buying it and selling it. So
Let's.
so you know what I'm gonna do next, David? We're gonna buy it and up here and sell it down here.
No.
That's
Well,
that's that's trading in a nutshell.
let's
But yes,
one last.
as of right now, it's going to come up to test around the resistance of $1.80. If we have a major breakthrough above $2 on this stock, I would buy it. I would probably buy it because it is consolidated in this downtrend for a long time, since probably May of 2023. So it's been 8 months now, 7, 8 months now. So it's time for this to break out of this downtrend. Now, where do we break out of this downtrend? In this zone here. This is the whole zone of trading. When would I know for sure we broke completely out of a downtrend? When we pass this zone here and go above the $3.30, $3 mark or 350 mark or whatever. Now, that could take months, that could take years, that could take days. What do? We watch it, if we like it. Now, if it's going to break out above the $2 range, I am going to say it will test the upper range of a breakout, and we might have some great gains on our hands to trade.
All right. Last one. Li Auto. LI.
LI. Yeah, we've looked at this one before. It doesn't get a whole lot of volume. Oh, but it did really great. Broke out. See, did I tell you I thought this one was kind of against the pack or the other way around? Because this one was looking good.
I don't even remember our discussion because it's probably been a month since we
Yeah,
talked
I
about
gotta
Li.
go back and take a look, but
Because you can see where you marked it up some. When was that you
yes,
marked it up?
yes, just around here. But this is a good buy around the 25 to $30 mark. And I like this breakout that they're having right now. It might dump, prematurely here a little bit before it comes back up. We might see something like a little bit like this, but I like what they just did. And it seems like the reason I'm saying it might have a drop a little bit is because earnings are actually coming up here on the 26th of February. So it's going to get a little shaky in this area, but I really like this accumulation around here. Oh my God, this is really good. This is the initial uptrend here back in May, and it got sold up top here. And in the same uptrend here, guys came back and bought it again, as you can see.
Okay.
So now it's all a matter of earnings. If the earnings say that our projections back in May are what made us go up this high and get back caught up around this high, then we're coming back up this high because we did what we said we were going to do. But if we don't, then we're coming back down to somewhere around here. That's kind of the picture right now.
All right.
Do I think that they're looking like they said that they did what they're going to do? Yeah, because the buyers came back from here to the same spot around here to buy it back up again. So $30 is a good zone for this Lee Automotive.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, that was
All the
all the
time I
ones.
got today. Yes, sir.
No,
Thank you so
I
much for
know.
having me. I apologize for the short notice, but we stand to see next week, and hopefully we're always right with the predictions. I always like to see how we perform week over week. Thank you so
No,
much
you're
for
doing
having me.
great. Thanks for watching.